Hey everybody, I just wanted to pop in here before the episode starts and let you know that the next couple of episodes are sponsored by Yorktoberfest. Yorktoberfest is October 14th from 1 to 5 at the York Fairgrounds, 344 Carlisle Avenue, York, PA. There will be 75 plus beer selections to taste. 12 PA wineries are coming down with 120 wines to taste. And you can get your tickets at advance at yorktoberfest.com. There's also a VIP hour. Skip the lines, skip the all that stuff, and come in from 12 to 1. So get your VIP tickets now at yorktoberfest.com. Hey Sam, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How are you not sweating? You got you got a denim shirt and a denim jacket.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Canadian tuxedo, but you have a look, man. I love it.
Thank you.
It fits. I don't know if you saw it the other day. I posted a video of Joshua Black Wilkins' latest piece. It was Another Star in the Tennessee Sky, I think.
Okay.
I think I talked to you about him last year, where you have that same kind of vibe. He's just a singer-songwriter. He lives in Nashville. He moved down to Nashville, I think, up from Alabama or something. But just a fantastic dude. I saw him playing guitar only, him on stage at Muddy Roots, and he just has that authentic vibe. Because
Right.
hang on, I gotta get over a thought. Okay, we're good. Anyway, so we have that thing where nowadays with you being do you feel you're a country musician? Sorta?
No. Well,
No.
yeah, sort of.
Okay.
I don't like to use that term because what it relates to nowadays.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was gonna say.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially barring this week. But no, in general, yeah, I understand that it's the idea of country music is. I was stuck next to one of the drivers at a dock yesterday, and he had Sirius's Country XM on, or Sirius's country station on. It's not good. It's not good anymore at all. And everyone will say the only country I dig into is that old time kind of stuff, but at the same time, that got mass marketed too.
Right. I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah. It just people like you personally, I love your music, and I do have that thing where it's okay, I love punk rock, I love everything, I dabble in a lot of stuff, and you have that thing where if I said, oh, I like old time country, I don't like old time country. It's junk. Most of it is junk. There are 3 or 4 standout people, and that's where I would put your music as something that does stand out.
Okay.
It does stand out because it is authentic. It's not, you don't have an A to B music, plan when you're writing your songs or anything like that where, it's about a certain topic, certain thing, certain tempo. There it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I really dig about it. And
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I appreciate you saying that. That the music that is seen as being kind of like holy grail, country music, Cash and Haggard and all those guys. At one point in time, that was what you would hear on the radio.
yeah.
It's the same thing that's going on now. And there would have been guys that would have listened to, Hank Williams Sr., that would have looked at these newer guys in the 50s and 60s that were coming out as being the new commercialized country BS.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes me think that the the key to being authentic might be your legacy.
Yeah.
Not what's happening right now. So the Blake Sheltons of the world and things like that.
Yeah.
20 years from now, people might. It's a good chance that they'll look back on that and say, well, that was I'm into old time country, and that's what old time country is.
Yeah.
And time will make it seem, or nostalgia will make it seem better than what it is. Because Johnny Cash couldn't sing. He couldn't sing well. He just told stories and.
Yeah, but that project he did with Rick Rubin was really good, and
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna, and I was gonna say, and I'm obviously not gonna disparage him either because that was Katie and I's first dance was Johnny Cash says, oh my God, I don't know it on the spot. She's gonna kill me if she ever listens to the show. It's all right. My wife lives with me. She barely listens to the show. It's great. But no, as I say, we did we did a first dance to Johnny Cash, and yeah, it's just got that
it's got that Pythagoras thing where it just feels right. Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
something about it that it's almost brainwashing. And because I've said that to a couple of friends. It's like, why do we like Johnny Cash that much? Because nobody really digs deep into his, his back catalog, because it's all really the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like on the other hand, like David Allan Coe was one of those weird ones that like I can't figure him out at all. But he's really good. He's a very talented musician, and he does have a good and punks love him just as much as everybody else. But I don't know if like maybe they're missing out on some of the like very not subtle hints that he's giving out. Like he might have not liked any of us.
No, not at all.
Yeah, like
he did not. He did not give a shit whatsoever.
And look, that's the whole thing that I have is like a friend of mine's going to the Turkey Hill, whatever, I forget who's playing. But she's like, yeah, it's country music, you're not going to like it. And I was like, I dig into some of it, but I dig into stuff that grows up from the ground up. Like Muddy Roots Music Festival, Tennessee, is one of my... I'm always lauding it. It's one of the best music festivals to go to if you sincerely love music and you just want to go to a place where there's so much playing that you're never going to, you're not going to see everybody, but the communal aspect of it is great. And it is, it's like punk-infused country, jazz, like everything's there. You get folk punk, folk punk is a stripping down further of the basics of punk. And it does give it like more, some of it is very good, like Apes of the State. They're good and they give it an actual soul. Some of it is terrible and it sounds bad and it's poorly recorded on purpose and that's annoying, but to each their own. But that's the thing is that in this scene, especially here in New York, is that we're mainly metal, mainly punk,
Right.
kind of bunch of folks. I just had fiddler Ian Carroll on a couple episodes ago. He's coming up tomorrow. This space traveling, time traveling. But no, I just had Ian Carroll on, and he's a busker and he plays fiddle. And he's, it stands out not only because he's incredibly talented, it stands out because it's not punk or metal. We're just this,
exactly.
Not to diminish anybody that's here making music. It's just, we have a lot of it.
Yeah, it's not saturated. With such a small area, you could have maybe 2 or 3 big acts before it becomes saturated in that genre. If you know what I mean. So we have so many singer-songwriters right now, everybody kind of doing the same acoustic singer-songwriter thing, and like you said, metal, punk, all that. And what do? You either stay here because of work, family, whatever, and you try to make it, or make some kind of living or have fun here, or you move out. And it seems a little bit easier for Ian to get attention and everything, because nobody else out there is playing fiddle on the street corner doing spoken word, all the stuff that he does.
Yeah, he's just
It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. His episode comes up tomorrow. That was one of the most just beautiful times, because we sat here and we just vibed as people, and it was like he opened my eyes up to a lot of things, and his values are his, and that's why I'm so magnetized to you, is because I follow your Instagram. You just put up something about the Pennsylvania Railroad. That stuff is cool, and I'm not looking at just a mirror image of the feeling group of X when I talk to you or when I talk to Ian. It's maybe we are different, maybe we do have feelings otherwise on other stuff, but it doesn't matter. You just and to have that kind of vibe, it's a beautiful thing. We sat here, we talked about gun control. That was weird because I'm not anti-gun. I'm anti-lax laws, because I have to deal with I have a 1,400 page rule book just to go to work, drive truck.
Oh yeah.
I think we could be a little more reasonable and just figure some shit out. We just need to get there, instead of
That's a very common argument that I've been seeing, is the whole comparing it to transportation and what you need to go through in order to get a driver's license and all that, and comparing it to what you have to do to get a weapon.
And it's just it is just common. It's purely common sense. And I think that's the other thing is when I run through your Facebook and stuff, you just are a common sense kind of guy. and you're just a like not in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a super even human being. You know, like
Thank you.
it's good, and it's good to have like that. That's I think that's why I hold on to guys like you so much, is that it's nice to see somebody else out there that just looks at things reasonably and either says something about it or doesn't, and that's okay. You know?
Yeah, there's a whole lot that I try not to talk about, just because I would like to build an image. I'm not anywhere near where I'd like to be with the whole music thing, but as I get there, I don't want. You have to separate personal, especially if I'm treating it like a business, because this is
Yeah.
what I want to do for a living. You know,
Yeah.
I can't do it now. I'm welding now for a living, but
Yeah, which is awesome.
oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's good, but I don't want to have a bunch of very personal conversations, things like that, up on social media, because that's a trail that's going to be there for who knows how long.
Yeah,
And I don't want to exclude anybody from appreciating what I'm trying to put out there, just because I've done that. I've seen what an artist, the personal side of them that I don't agree with, and I'm like, oh nope, never going to listen to them.
yeah,
Or I automatically judge them on it. You know, it's the wrong thing to do, but I think a lot of people do it.
yeah. We have to. I mean, at some point, like everyone says, it's not fair to judge people. It's like if you walk past an alleyway that you're going to take a shortcut to a bar, and you see a man brandishing a gun at the other side of the alleyway, you're going to judge him as a danger. It's,
Right.
It's innate. It's natural.
Yeah,
It's
I guess
what
I
we
was-
do, is like, yeah, but like political affiliations, all those other.
That's more what I was talking about.
people-
Not as much extreme things.
Yeah, but like, yeah, you see people lauding up just opinions that are either people are allowed their own opinion, but there is a time and a place for it.
Exactly.
You know, it's like,
Yep.
and we have this assumption that digital us is not us at all. It's like, well, no, I'm gonna take most of the things that you say, and I'm gonna really see whether or not I appreciate your friendship enough to keep you.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
if you're just one of those people that pass on memes, that's fine. They're funny sometimes, but like, you know, there's no reason to be this way. Like that just happened yesterday with the mayoral candidate, which I'm gonna have somebody on later this month. Ooh, that's exciting. But yeah, like that happened here in the borough. We
okay.
Whatever it was last year. We have Sean Malk now.
Yeah.
The prior borough mayor was being an asshat on the internet and expecting that comes as free speech. Well,
You're talking about West York, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure anybody that listens to the show has either been on it or knows where I live anyway. I really shouldn't put it out though. But yeah, so the mayor, the prior mayor of West York Borough had this thing where he was like, I mean, just an asshat to the point where you don't need to be.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like, oh God, what was it? I forget. I think it was a Brian Posehn bit about a bunch of dudes on an elevator, or it was somebody. Their bit about a bunch of dudes on an elevator. A very pretty woman got on. Nobody said anything. And that was the whole thing of it. It's like, you know that being a decent human is to not say anything, but this guy was the wolf in the elevator that was just like, oh, well, I'm here and it's private and it's free speech and it doesn't matter anyway. It's like, free speech comes with the territory. Sure, free speech is one of our rights, but that doesn't mean people aren't going to take your words as not, as nothing.
Yeah.
If you're going to say it, you're going to feel any effect. Yeah,
It's that old thing where old saying that people would they teach you as you're growing up that you only have one chance when you meet somebody, and now we're meeting people constantly. I guess meeting in finger quotes right now, but on social media, you know what I mean? We're constantly being exposed to new people, and although we're not meeting them in person, one day we might need that person for some reason, or friendship or business or otherwise, and they've already met you. They met you online, and you might have been just blowing smoke or doing whatever, but they're going to take that seriously. The majority of people.
Yeah, and it just it's such a weird thing, and it is like with me. Yeah, I add a bunch. I always add people on Facebook. I'll run through the suggested friends and all that stuff, and I'll add like if we have enough mutual friends, I'm going to add you, and I'll probably dig into you as a guest. Like I do want to meet people, and it does like everything that you put up and me, I get into this like I've been in this really, really primordial thinking thing where my logic path has changed from why people are doing this in the moment to what chemicals inside of them is causing them to do this. And I have I have everything back down to a primate thing so that I can just look at, if I look at somebody's actions and don't like it, I can figure out exactly what is causing them to do that biologically and pass it off, because otherwise I would just be alone, like purely alone.
Yeah.
It's like, because the actions of people have gotten so negligent and so thoughtless that when you spend a day just trying to get through it, and like even on the radio, even on TV, it's just a mechanical kinetic routine, and if I hang on to that, I'll just go into a mass depression. So I just kind of have to figure out a way to make it a game for myself. Otherwise, it's like there's no value to it at all, to the things that most people are saying.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I wouldn't interact with anyone, and that's not fun either.
No, you wouldn't interact with anybody. What do you mean? Are there people out there that you align with, that you're able to?
There are a lot of people that I align with well, and luckily they're nearby. But
I guess I mean without using that coping device.
No, there are people like that.
Okay.
No, absolutely. They are out there, and it's just there's that thing where everything has come to detectivism. Like, we have to, every word has to be detective. Like, you got to dig into it and inquire, and then give that a reason, and then the topic is missed. Like a statement is made, and instead of paying attention to the statement, we're paying attention to all the ancillary things that spread out from it, like a spider web. And the people that do that, and that's a rat race. That's an obvious rat race, and it's keeping you occupied and busy. It's driving you nuts. Just stop doing it. The people that can take that topic or be in that moment, those are the people that I vibe with really well. And they are definitely out there. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not a question of it's not a question of intelligence. It's a question of, the smartest man knows when to be quiet. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Like, the people that know when to, those are people I'm always attracted to. Like, if you have something weird to say to me, say it in private. Most of the people know that. It's like, cool.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So, this has been weird. This has been like personal therapy. I like it a lot. But anyway, so yeah, that's why I like you so much, is when I see you. We ran into each other outside of the White Rose. Shook hands like two men would, and said hello, hey, come on, and hooked up, and it was great. That's cool. And in that moment, it was wonderful. I was with my wife. I believe you were with your
girlfriend.
Yeah. And we didn't sit there and gab off at each other about nonsense. We just, hey, directive, let's do the thing. Been a while, I haven't seen you. It was really nice seeing you. You get that warm feeling, and you keep going. It's really nice. So,
yeah. I was very happy to see you, and you were all around. You were bouncing all around.
Oh yeah, that night I had two of my favorite cousins, and my wife were downtown along with my friend Katie, and it was like wrangling cats, but it was super fun because I'm designated driver because I'm sober. I've been sober for a very long time, and so I'm just kind of like the clear-headed, let's go this way, and everybody's like, let's go do all this other weird stuff, and I got some old lady was hitting on me. It was great. She
that's awesome.
She had to be 70. She was really pretty. I don't know if you ever
if you weren't a married man.
Yeah, exactly. No, my wife was standing there when she did it because she just she ran her fingers through my gauges and just said, "You're a bad boy," and it was like, I don't even know what your name is, but this is okay, I guess. And my wife was laughing the entire time. It just weird stuff happens.
Does that happen often? The fingers through the holes?
Oh yeah. It's a strange thing. Like, people think it's okay to do it. It's not.
Yeah. Like, I never had mine stretched that big. I stopped at 00, so it wasn't quite big enough for maybe a pinky or something.
No,
nobody ever did that.
Average people can get at least 3 fingers in there, and I'm just at a point where I don't even notice it. Like, look, people are gonna do it. I just let it go. It's not gonna ruin my day. I'm not gonna hang on to it. Just that's fun. You're enthusiastic about it. Like, you can see it in people's faces when they want to talk to you about it. Like, oh, they get nuts. They get like the dog waiting to go outside to pee.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's just like, all right, look, yeah, I know they're big. They're an inch and 5/8. Yeah. Check it out. Go ahead, put your finger through it. Go ahead. Yeah, isn't that weird? Cool. And especially in my line of work where I'm a truck driver, I kind of stand out.
Yeah.
I don't have that whole thing going on. But you, on the other hand, you weld, and that is what possessed you to be a welder? Because that's a skill I don't have.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Let me think about this, because it was. I've done several different things. I've been out of high school like 7 years now. So in that 7 years, I've been kind of experimenting with this and that, trying to figure out what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it always comes back to I like I don't know how to say this, but I'm just I like to work. I don't like to sit in an office setting or in some kind of sterile environment. I'd like to feel at the end of the day like I did something.
Yeah.
And maybe other people get that from office type jobs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, that feeling I get from working with my hands. Now, I've never been good at working with my hands. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
I'm not. Doesn't come easy. I have to work at it harder than most people. But I decided if I'm going to pick a trade, I need a day job. I need to support myself and future family and all that kind of stuff. So I need to do something. I don't want to. I was working warehouse jobs, things like that, and there's nothing. There's no future in that unless you sell yourself to the company, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And that's not something I was interested in. So I knew that the next job I work, I need to be able to leave that job and get a better one and take something with me, not just driving a forklift or whatever. So I thought, well, I looked into carpentry, things like that, and I like creative trades is what I was looking at. And welding, I saw a bunch of guys saying, well, every weld's different, every welder is different. You all get the same end result, or you should. But going about it, every welder is different, and that kind of stuck out to me. And I've always liked working with metal, back in like high school, stuff like that, shop class. So I decided to kind of go out on a limb and try. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I think I welded once in high school, did some brazing and stuff, but it's been some time.
Yeah, I was gonna say enough time passes. You're like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah, took some night classes and then landed a job with a great company. It's called MKT. It's in Emmetsville.
Oh, okay.
And they went out on a limb. They saw that I had applied for just general whatever, and then it's a manufacturing place, and then I was going to try to work my way up into the weld shop then after I was done with my night classes. And the guy who was interviewing me, he saw that on my resume that I was going to school and for welding, and they have a weld shop there. So he's like, yeah, why don't you? We'll teach you what you need to know, and that's how I got in there. So it's very rare that you get all the jobs. Like I'm looking at. I'm doing some job searching now for just different types of welding jobs for the future. I'm not really interested in leaving my company now, but and a lot of it's like, oh, you need 2, 3, 4 years of experience, work experience as a welder, and it's that same thing in any field. How do you get the experience if they don't hire you because you're inexperienced? You know, it was one of those things. So he gave me that, and I owe him a lot for that.
That's awesome though, and the forethought of saying, you didn't want to keep going, like, because I had the same thing up until I was, what was I, 6 years ago? I was 26 6 years ago, and I finally quit my last construction renovation gig, and I was like, all right, forget this, I'm going to school, and I got my Class A, and that's been it since, and it's like I hit that point where. After my first year was working for a place that was here, there, like I ran New York City. I ran hard, long nights and like super crazy long hours. It was just the way of the world. That's actually pretty much all gone. There's no way to use paper logs anymore reasonably and all kinds of fun stuff. So there's no way around the system anymore. But so I got that year in, and then I went with the company that my dad's been at for 30 years, and it just. I was talking to my dad one day, and he's like, hey, you finally found a career. It's like you stopped finding jobs. You found
Right.
that, and you're satisfied, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's a good way to do it. And it's interesting that you hit that like 25, 26. You know, you're 25 now.
24. Yeah.
24.
So I was
Yeah,
23 when I started all of it.
Yeah. And like you just hit that point, you're like, all right, this is enough. Yeah, because you could definitely skate from warehouse to warehouse for your entire life here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and just that's not fun.
I think it all depends on what you want. Because I know I worked with a lot of people that they enjoyed that type of work, and they had other things. Importantly, they had other things outside of work that they were passionate about, and it was okay to work in a warehouse and do the type of work they were doing. They didn't want anything more as far as a career goes, because they were going after something outside of that in their personal life, and I can identify with that definitely. But I would like to have, in order for me to write and I think succeed as far as the music thing goes, on a personal level, and have material that I enjoy, I need to have as a small number of stressors and things to worry about. Because the minute I start stressing about my personal life, what's going on, I don't turn to music. It's funny how that works.
Really?
It's not until after. It's not until I'm after the wood or out of the woods until I kind of explore that. Like, well, what was I, thinking? What was I feeling? That kind of thing. I can't be creative in that type of environment. So I needed to relieve some financial stress and personal thoughts of like failure and things like that I haven't done. In my opinion, I hadn't done anything. What am I doing?
Right.
That.
Well, I was gonna say that's interesting. At that, like, good Lord, I think when I was your age, I was drunk all the time and just no clue what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And that was the weirdest thing, was that like after finding the job that after finding my career, figuring out that I love truck driving, because it's just it's like I work a 70-hour week and then I do this on top of that. It's about 100 hours out of 160 some odd in the week. It's tight, but excuse me, is that like I have the comfort of knowing that, okay, financially everything here is safe. This, if it ever expands, if it doesn't, the money's not there, but I'm not digging to do that. Like, I am digging to do that sort of, but I'd like to do that and just maybe work a 40-hour work week at my regular job, and then work here 40, 50, 60 hours a week. That's fine. Like, I do have that urge to be constantly moving and constantly into something. But like, once I found that safety of work, it's like everything on the out. Yeah, I agree with you. It's when I had no job, or I had no idea where my next rent payment was going or anything like that, I didn't do anything creative. Yeah, like there was no room for it. There was no thinking for it. There was just nothing but anxiety and the next cloud over the horizon. And that it's just interesting that you hit that so young, in my eyes, because I'm a 32-year-old man, and I still you still appear, because I'm actually a 16-year-old girl at heart, but it happens that way. But like, it's interesting that you looked at that at that age, and like you went to Dover, right?
No, I went to Red Lion.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to one of our suburban schools, and
right.
Like, did anything in your youth shade that idea of, getting out of high school, going to do a thing, and then like settling into a life? Is that what, like, did that shade your opinion at all, or shade your motivation?
That's exactly what my father did, and he he started to go to, I believe it was Penn State, didn't finish that, and he's worked his ass off for as long as I can remember, of course, and we went through a lot of times where he wasn't working because of layoffs and the nature of manufacturing type jobs, but he never failed to provide, and that stuck with me. It was never he's a very internal or stoic type person. So I never had a man-to-man conversation with him like, this is how you provide, this is what a man does.
Yeah.
But you get it from watching.
Yeah.
And I guess I had that mentality even when I was younger and leaving high school, that of course I made a lot of mistakes, and I mean I dropped out of college twice, and just doing whatever. But I always had in the back of my mind that I knew what I was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
At least from my own set of morals, it was I need to be progressing in life, and if I'm not progressing, then I need to at least hold it down, like he did.
Yeah.
And I learned that very, very early on from him. So I always have that drive. It's sometimes it's pushed down deep, and I think wildly, and I dream big, and I want to tour constantly. But at the same time, you can say that still is holding it down. That's still grinding away from guys that tour all the time.
Yeah.
When I talk to them, it's not all fun and games.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You're just not going to that same plant every day.
Yeah, that's like I think that's the one thing that I have. That's definitely a thing that I have in common, was that, like, growing up with my stepdad, like, no matter what he did, he made sure that we ate. He tried his damnedest. As much chaos as was going on between 4 kids and and my mom and all kinds of shit, like working swing shift out of the brick plant, like, he just did it. And he said that to me once. He said, "Look, whatever you want to do that you find fun, the only way to do it is to make sure that you're okay otherwise." He said, he said, "I can't tell you how to do it." He said, "And you're a weird," like, he and I are two very different human beings, but the way that he was and the way his family was, just, blue collar, work hard, do your thing. And then if you want to go do other weird stuff, go for it. Like, as long as you're safe, as long as the stability is there, that's what you're shooting for. Go do whatever you want. And, like, that's the one thing that I've been trying to, like, mitigate, is this idea that, like, I would certainly love to just rent this place out and go on tour with a podcast. Yeah. And I don't, like, I have that battle of, is that the right thing to do? It's like, personally, I see it as, I think it'd be, it would be fun, but as a truck driver, dude, traveling sucks. Traveling on highways, it's fucking terrible, and it's boring. And if I have to have a layover where I'm stuck in a motel for a night, you hit that point of boredom that is impossible to deal with. You can't sleep. You're too bored and too tired to sleep. You're tired of watching, like, I don't watch TV anyway. Yeah. So you're just tired of watching the clock spin, tired of drinking coffee, like, it's miserable, and you're doing that every day, like, But the thought, like, the biggest holdback on that is the idea that, like, well, where's the money coming from? Or where's the, where, like, is it one big gig and then a bunch of small ones? And, like, how do I, like, mitigate the anxiety of wondering where that's coming from when I've already got it? Like, how can I ever, because I'd love to step out of this life and go and do that,
Oh, absolutely.
Like, Katie, my wife, and I have a goal of getting enough money together to buy a bus for $2,800 and making an RV. And then first couple of years, just doing 3 different, like, week-long road trips in it, because I got 3 weeks of paid vacation. Yeah. And, and trying to, like, making that fun. And then, but every time I go, like, every time I stand and I look at where I'm going, all I want is like, I feel that wanderlust of going out and being out there, and it's like, and then when I step off the curb and I go to do it, it's like, then the anxiety kicks in. And I was just like, what in God's name am I possibly doing with myself? Like, it gets weird.
Yeah, it's, of course, another conversation that would bore me too, and other people listening would be like, that we're so tied to money, and it's so controlling, and what is money and all that kind of shit. I'm not too interested in having that conversation. I like to talk about reality and the fact that as much as you hate the fact that you need to work and make money, and I do hate that fact, that I have to go and do these things. I'd like to just live my life and, float around and all that, but I can't. And nobody really can. It's not something that you can maintain for the rest of your life. Yeah, sure, you can do it. You can bum around for a while, but I don't think it's going to end very well for you. So, it is a tough conversation to have when you want, like you said, wanderlust. You want to just pick up and leave, but you gotta do it methodically. I think you got to plan, and then you can make it happen eventually. But I think it leads all of it leads back to the fact that like I said, that my father holding it down. And no matter what you do,
hold it down.
Yeah, like go out and if you're floating around and making money, say you're just busking for money, you better be out there every day working.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and
it's the same thing.
Ian works as much as like this was such. Oh God, I wish I could have played you that episode first. I should have, but because I didn't realize Ian was gonna come up so much. But like, yeah, it is that thing. Like, yeah, he's out busking and he's out and he's free, but he's still got. If he doesn't busk, then what happens? But he does have a really beautiful perspective on life, and he is old. He's 5 years older than me, so
yeah,
he does have a more mature outlook on life.
Right,
we get there. So that's really cool. But yeah, it's like, and it's hard to talk about. It's hard to wrap your head around the fact that, like, personally, I work a bunch of hours and my paycheck shows it, but that's not what motivates me at all. Like, it's not a factor of greed or like I need more. It's like, if I just get over this one hump, I can just have less responsibilities and deal with life otherwise and be more free. And it is just, no matter what, having that stable thing is like,
I think if you look at it like I need enough. It's not that I need more, but I need enough to make sure that I can drive 2 states away and play a couple shows. I need enough. I need enough to do that. I don't need more. And where's that money gonna come from? It's it's just that whole mentality. Like you needed enough to set up all of this equipment that you have here. This, it's something you needed for the job, so you had to work elsewhere to get it.
Exactly. It was like, excuse me, and it was everything here is out of pocket. Everything, like, the table came out of the trash. I love this table. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. But it's like, for me to host the podcast and all that stuff, it does cost. And before, like, I wrangled with the idea of doing this earlier this year or late last year again, and getting back into this, but didn't have any equipment, and I just had to wait and get there. And when I had the time and money free to do it, did it. So it was, and if I wouldn't have worked, I wouldn't have been able to do this. So it was just weird. I just think there's a lot of I think people have a lot of expectations socially about, having giant things and having all this stuff, and you're a musician and it's awesome and you're doing all that cool stuff, but then you realize, like, you're not, like, you're not out there every night. You're not running yourself tired to a point of, like, mental blindness because you're just out gigging because you need a new. You have to have all this stuff, and it's like, you go out and you go home, you finally craft all your beautiful music, and then when you have the chance, you take it out into the public forum.
My girlfriend, she has a successful business that she runs downtown. She owns the Victrola Dance Hall.
Oh,
so
is that that's the old
swing dancing
club?
And all that? Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I put the floor in there once.
Oh yeah.
I put the dance floor in.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So I kind of get carried away with I'm constantly trying to book, and it hasn't been working very good for me. If you check out my website, I only have 2 shows coming up, but nonetheless, I'm trying. I'm trying to book constantly, and she kind of is. She basically said, at this level, what's that going to do for you? You put in all that work, and you're not going to make nearly as much as your day job, so you can throw finances out the window. It's not going to support you financially, and you're not going to get new fans playing tiny gigs to 5-10 people that are just drunk anyways. That's not you might get 1 or 2, but it is, what's it going to do for you at this stage? And that kind of pulled me back in a little bit. It's like, yeah, I should. Playing shows constantly is not the answer. I think if you want to do that as a musician because you get a lot of enjoyment out of it, then go for it. But I don't necessarily get enjoyment out of playing a bunch of shitty shows in a row.
Yeah,
You know?
I feel like in your specific situation, like that would drag on you after a while, and your your songwriting quality might drop, and where's it going to affect you otherwise? That all you're doing is pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's like, well, yeah, but if you just waited, you could have had a Rembrandt.
Yeah,
like you could have painted a Rembrandt, and now look at your goofy watercolor.
Right.
Yeah,
and eventually, I mean, that's not to say that is my dream. That is what I want to do. I want to be out playing shows all the time and making money that way, doing something I love. But like I said, at this stage where I'm just not there yet, what's the point? Eventually I'm gonna have to do that, because once you get the ball rolling, it seems like most musicians, they have to. It's not a question of if that's what they want to do or whatever. As soon as you get on a record label or anything like that, or you're putting out stuff DIY, you better be playing shows to spread it out there.
Yeah.
But I'm just not there.
Yeah. So that was the question, was how are you getting your stuff out there?
I have a website. If people don't know, my first name is Sam, but my music I go under UncleBrotherCousin. It's a goofy little moniker.
I know. I think we talked about that.
Yeah,
it rolls off the tongue, right?
Yeah, it came from an old band I played in, and I was a drummer in that band, and they're bouncing around band names, and somebody, I forget who it wasn't me, they came up with UncleBrotherCousin as kind of like a hokey type name, and it was turned away right away, but it stuck with me. And then when the band disbanded, I took the name.
There you go.
And I use it. But if you go to UncleBrotherCousin.com, you can download my EP that I have there. SoundCloud, I use Instagram for little short videos of what I'm working on, or things like that.
That's cool, because that's the other thing, is like the constancy of this. Like, this started out as a weekly show. This has gone, I think, October with you. I have another 11 interviews to finish up this month. Yeah. Actually, a dozen now, because I forgot about that special one. But so I have like a dozen things to do, and that works out well for me, because I throw it up there. I throw it up there. I share it. Cool. Well, the people that listen, they're gonna tell their friends. It's it'll get there, and it's not like I had to deal with that, which was like the first month I did it, I had vacation in Jersey and all that stuff anyway, so it was once a week, and that was cool. But then I started to realize that, like, I'm bored. I need to do more. Like, I love to do more. I like to do this where I ramp up, and it doesn't matter who's coming in. It could be current events, it could be whatever. Just come in, because let's put stuff up there. It's easy. The simplicity of this is just, it's there, and I don't have to finally craft a song. I don't have to really pay attention to what I have to pay attention during the conversation. But I spend my days digging up new leads and where I should go next, and fun stuff to dig into. So it gets that way. Like, I didn't want to interject when you were talking about doing all your gigs and just wanting to do gigs all the time. It's like, no, I'd totally be okay with that. But I have to balance that with being married and having responsibilities otherwise.
Right.
So
right.
Not too
bad.
bad.
I think there's a famous, he's running the like outlaw country scene right now. His name is Sturgill Simpson, and he you rarely see. And actually, his manager talked about this in some kind of interview. They don't put him out there on social media constantly. It's the mystery of who he is and his. I mean, he's starting to be out in the open a little bit more now, but he's not showing what he's working on. You gotta wait. You gotta wait 2 years for the next record, and it gives you that anticipation.
Yeah,
and I think there's something to that. Maybe not to that extreme. Of course, he already has a fan base.
Well, yeah,
so they're going to be loyal. If you don't
true.
have a fan base, then how do you build it?
Yeah.
But I do like that, and I would like to, if I ever get any amount of success, be that way. It's kind of the old way where if you didn't, there's no way of seeing an artist unless they were on the nighttime television or
It
how
just,
did
yeah, I was gonna say like Austin City Limits was a big TV
Right.
show,
Yep.
and you had all that fun stuff, and like that's how you dug into new work, and like I ran into that with having written a book. It's like, well, so have a billion other people, and they write just pretty standard like stories, scaffolded ebooks, and they put them out every fucking day of the week, and it's like, well, how do you keep up with that, or how do you make your thing shine on top of that? And like, I was gonna bring up Sergil Simpson with you because I learned about him from Joe Rogan, and
oh yeah.
that was a debacle, by the way. The whole working for the
Yeah,
CIA thing.
I believe it.
It was funny, but it was just that thought of like, okay, well, do I wait and work to master this? Do I wait and work to make sure this is my thing? My thing is 100% perfect, or how do you keep people engaged, or does that even matter? Like,
Yeah.
Of course, digital media wise, of course, life wise, everything matters, especially with what you're doing, and engaging with people is what matters most. But is the traffic or the likes, all the the whatever retweets and all that stuff, like, is that what matters? Does that give anything more merit just because you're constantly in that, or does it not? Like,
Yeah, I'd say it doesn't give it any more merit. I'd like things and I'd share things and everything that I will never. That week, I got into that artist and I enjoyed their record and stuff like that, but for whatever reason, I won't probably ever listen to them ever again.
yeah,
But it happened through Facebook or Spotify or whatever. I'll find artists, and the guys guys and girls that I really am interested in as musicians, and I love their work, I will wait 2 years to hear from them.
yeah.
I'm loyal like that as far as music goes. So I don't know. I don't think there's any merit in that, but it does help. Obviously.
I was gonna say it does help a little bit, and like, yeah, that's one of my other things is like it is like, if I turn off my phone and stop worrying about what's going on, is everybody gonna forget about me? Like, how do you like? So you take Sturgill Simpson, or let me think of another good artist that'd be a good example. That's kind of rough right now. Anyway, but like, yeah. So yeah, 2 years waiting on a Sturgill Simpson record, like, or the next Jimmy, like for me, the next Jimmy Eat World record. I'm excited for that one too. Or waiting so long for Queens of the Stone Age. How do you like? That's I feel like that's the biggest thing. Being a media involved artist now is how to garner that kind of legacy of, you're worth the wait.
Yeah.
Because like we could, I came across a random subreddit, and it was a band in like those those old like plague doctor masks.
Oh, okay.
And they were in an abandoned hospital. They set fire to the building, and they were playing a violin and a piano, and they were just making noise with saws, and like, it was garbage. And people had waited years for them to do that performance. But it was still garbage,
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't. You look at that and you're like, okay, well, you thought you had that kind of like thing, and people got into it and they got all tied up into waiting for it, but then you still put junk out. That's sweet.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't ensure that what you're going to put out is
All that good.
is worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that.
Like, and you could go and pick up every self-help book and try to find that direct path with an actual answer to that. And I guess like that was the one thing, like, last year it was all like I got into marketing and exploring marketing and trying to understand the that whole thing, and I just feel like nobody knows why anything's popular, and there's just billions of books to tell you that they don't know either. Like,
yeah, I think maybe one word, luck or fate.
Yeah.
So, maybe you could explain in ways like that, but I don't know. I don't know anything about marketing, and I
Yeah.
try to do my own somewhat, at the small level that I'm at. But that's something had just gotten into because I wasn't playing there for a while or doing anything with music. And when I got back into it recently, then I decided, well, that's one thing I'd neglected before, and I've seen some headway as far as, but like you said, how much merit does it have?
Yeah.
I've gotten followers, but are they real followers?
Yeah, are they really actively engaged? It's like,
Yeah, it's I got like a bunch of Catholics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, they wear the shirt and they never come to the show. I totally get that. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, like, I don't know. It is as much time as I have to sit and think during a day, being up, 3/4 of it, like, and just sitting and thinking, it's like, yeah, that's a rat race, and I don't really want to deal with it, and I just won't let it. Like, I sure as certain wish I would have paid attention when I was younger, and followed through on any of the thoughts that I had at any of the manic thoughts at 19, like, oh, we should record, I should finish this book, oh, I should record this, I should shoot this video, like. If I would have had that better thought process of like, yeah, if you make something and nurture it, either way, it's alive. And it's that's the way I've gotten now is like, I'm really just happy that most of the stuff that I make exists.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't really even notice if more people listen or not. Like, I'm just stoked that anybody even cares or that I managed to get it on the internet and it's really exciting when like
I think it goes in steps. Like initially, if you're creating anything, no matter who you are, whether you're an artist by trade or not, there is satisfaction in that.
Yeah.
If you create, like, say you're just cooking dinner and you like, I can't cook at all. Like I'm
really,
I'm not very good at it. But if I actually cook a meal, you know what I mean, in its entirety, I am so proud of myself and that I created something. And it doesn't matter that somebody else likes it. Not as much as the satisfaction that I get that I actually made it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then it goes in steps. Then, and are you making money off of it? Well, that's not as important as people actually enjoying it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then you can follow the trail from there. But
it just it gets. I forgot to take the low cut off. Anyway, somebody's here, a motorcycle passing by. Because it's hot. Like it is really hot in here today. I'm impressed with the weather lately.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, but. No, I fully agree with it. Like, self-satisfaction is what matters most, and the other thing is like, I forget who said it. There was a quote that was a sign of a happy employee is one that doesn't run home just to go to sleep.
Oh yeah.
And like I thought about that the other day because I woke up when Ian came over on a Wednesday. I work at 11:30. He came over at 9:00 in the morning. We had breakfast and then just ran through this, and then I ran to work, and then I got home and I was editing the episode and doing all kinds of fun stuff. It's like, yeah, I must be really satisfied with life because look at all the efforts I'm making. I'm happy to do this.
Yeah,
it's cool like that. And I was gonna say, and you have an EP, and that's the biggest thing is like you've been doing music for a while now.
Yeah, it's something that I've been doing most of my life. But as far as pushing it, trying to put it out there, trying to be a performing artist, that's something that's pretty new to me.
Yeah,
only the past couple of years.
That's cool.
I started playing. Well, I guess it started on percussion first. The whole school band thing, and that was when I was in 4th grade, and moved on to stringed instruments like mandolin, banjo.
Oh, cool.
Guitar for the ladies.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any ladies in high school with a banjo. They just think you're weird.
No, they're going to think you're like, hey, you want to go canoeing this weekend? No, not at all, dude. Yep. Nope.
And and a lot of the education I got in music was just sitting on a porch with my grandfather and my dad just playing.
Yeah,
and going to bluegrass and country jams and festivals and things like that. That's how I learned. That's how I learned what talent was and what talent was not. Yeah. When you see the guy who's never done anything with it, but he can outplay most of the musicians that are out there recording records.
Yeah,
and he's just satisfied just playing that. That to me is just that's true talent there, where you do it for the love, and if you decide to take it elsewhere, then you decide that. But there's a lot of artists out there that I don't. Not that I'm saying they don't deserve to have records or be playing. I'm just saying that they're nothing compared to the guys I've met.
Yeah.
In some parking lot somewhere at a bluegrass jam.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, that is one of those weird things, is like how you watch just because I love saying his name, Yngwie Malmsteen, for example. Like, you see him and he's up on a stage masterfully playing, and then you see, like, you do meet people that are out there, and you see him on, like, you just see them and they're playing it on a street corner, just doing their thing, and it's like, it's interesting that, like, we hold a lot of people up on a high pedestal for talent, and then you realize, like, yeah, but if you just dig a little further, look at all these other, and it's just like, we just get into this routine of not wanting to dig.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess what I was trying to, I should clarify that a little bit. The talent doesn't come from the ability to play. It's the person behind it, and the feeling. If they're able to create something that is genuine, and you can find something else in it other than, so it's a good song, but what else can you find in the song? If it's just a good song, then I don't really feel like that's talent, or at least talent at a high level.
Yeah,
because I'm of the thought process that everybody can sing. Like, everybody can sing with a little bit of training. Everybody can write songs with a little bit of training. They can paint. They can do whatever. I don't think there's any limitations that people put on themselves. Oh, I can't do that. That's not really true. You just got to work harder at it.
Yeah.
But I think what separates a talented person, a talented writer, or musician, is that you can find something of value in what they're doing.
Right.
And I think a lot of that comes from looking at them as a person. So somebody that's playing an insane guitar solo, if you're looking at them and you get something from that as far as emotion, then that guy has talent.
Yeah.
Anybody can just play the notes.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. It's like, I don't even run it. I was gonna say, it's like, I just watched What Would Diplo Do for, I don't know, I think the 8th time, and he's a DJ, whatever, electronica artist, and he was doing like, in the show, it's James Vanderbeek. He was doing an interview, and she's like, "So what makes Diplo stand out compared to the rest of the DJs pushing buttons on a computer?" And he's like, "I just know how to keep it lit." And that is that weird workaround. It's like, well, yeah, that's true. Like, I watched a documentary about Steve Aoki, and he threw this giant block party, and it was in Los Angeles. It was the biggest, most insane thing in the entire world. And he knows how to do that, and his talent is to do that. And he's definitely not a musician,
right?
Creatively, he does know how to take that little kernel and make you. He knows how to take that little spot that you're in and make that your universe for the night, and just cut everything else out and maintain all that stuff. Like, that is the weird thing. I'm sorry to keep bringing that up, but
no, that's fine.
Yeah, it just. Yeah, I agree. The talent is to have you so engaged in the moment that you forget where you are. You see musicians that like that. Like, when the first time I saw Knight play, it was on a open mic night at the Depot. I was going to read poetry anyway, but like, yeah, everybody, there were 15 people there. They're all sitting up in the bar talking to each other because we were all friends anyway. And then I just disappeared to go stand and watch Knight. And it's just like, yeah, they mattered. Like, they matter to me because they are incredibly talented guys. Because when I stand there and I stare at and I watch Knight, like, I'm not on this plane of reality. It's a beautiful thing. So.
Yeah, they do it without words and vocals.
Oh, I know, and they do.
For everybody out there who hasn't checked them out.
They do such a great job of it too. So, but yeah, it just made it like, yeah, I totally get your point, and I totally understand what you're saying. Is that, yeah, when somebody when someone makes something that just fully grabs you and just, that's, and makes you feel beautiful on the inside.
Yeah, all that touchy-feely stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're men, though. That's the thing. Is like, and that's the other thing that I really like about you too, is that you do have a very, like, You do have a very, very A-type thing going on, like especially like visually, like when I see you in person,
Oh,
like
okay.
you're definitely like like you got that manly thing going on,
Oh, thank
but you don't have like that over masculine thing going on. It's
Oh
cool.
no, I'm a musician. I got to be in touch with my
You do, but
emotions. You know.
you definitely are, and like that's the interesting thing is like no, I definitely wouldn't like screw you in a handshake deal or something like that because like if I look at you, you might beat me up, probably. So
Nah, I've been in plenty of fights, lost them all.
yeah,
Don't tell nobody.
yeah, no, I've lost all of them too. I'm not really. I'm not. I'm super good at looking like I'm gonna break somebody's nose. I'm just
That's
not
all
good
you
at-
need, though.
Yeah, that
know?
that definitely helps.
Deterrence.
So
Yeah.
it just keeps people away from me. So,
But
but
the
yeah,
whole emotional thing, yeah, you gotta be. It's. I'm sure that that's something that you deal with too, as far as conversations. You have to be able to open up, and let people see that there's a human side of you, or else there's no way that they're gonna identify with what you're doing or relate.
yeah,
If you're just cold all the time, and I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of genres of music that are that way, where it's just aggression and there's nothing soft about it, and there's people that enjoy that. But do they relate to you as a person? Probably not. They relate to the aggression or the intensity of the music. You
yeah.
know?
Like yeah, I'll happily listen to Municipal Waste or Napalm Death, and and it's just it's music for that moment where yeah, you're right. Like I'm not gonna go try to tear down the Irish government because I'm mad about it, and then write smear
Right.
campaign. Like
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. But like yeah, you're right. It fits sometimes, and at the same like yeah, and with this, it's like getting people to open up to the fact that actually let's step back a second. So yeah, it is the balance of I forget. I just read an article about it, and then I put the book in my Amazon list. But it was written by a samurai who said he was one of the last wandering samurai who registered I think 54 kills
Oh wow.
and killed 54 men in his life with a sword, fighting in the woods, and apparently just for fun or honor. But his whole philosophy is the balance of the warrior is to be good with a sword and good with a pen and good with a brush and good at poetry and good at songwriting and like it is that whole thing is like ideally I deal with that thought too. I was working on an essay where that's the balance that Freud and Jung had said, like Jung has the shadow. And you should nurture the shadow because you think it's aspects that you need to quash down and remove from yourself. When in actuality, if you keep doing that, every time you push them down, you give them more magnification and they get more control over you. When if you learn to love the shadow parts of you, they will be beautiful because anything that's loved is beautiful. So that's like that's a very basic way of putting it, but that's the whole thing is like you need to be in balance with the monster inside of you, and you need to be able to accept the fact that there's a monster inside of you, or else no one is ever going to look at you and say I felt 100% safe or open with that person because there was something just very, very wrong
Yeah.
in their speech, where there was something very, very wrong in they had that twinkle in their eye, like they're gonna do weird stuff to you.
Yeah.
It's because they're just not balanced enough, and it's like they don't accept that they're the monster, and that's what makes them the monster. So
Yeah, that's something I've been dealing with over the past, I don't know, half a year, something like that, is dealing with aggression and trying to find other emotions to express other than anger if something's going wrong with the people that are closest to me.
yeah,
Because I tend to keep everything, bottled up like a lot of people do. On a personal level with the people in my family and relationships and stuff like that. And it got pretty bad there for a while where all it was anger that was coming out. And you gotta, learn how to control that it is a necessary emotion, I think. To have. And I think as evolved as we are, as people like to say, we're still primal when it comes down to it. And there's a survival instinct, and a male's aggression and a female's aggression is something that is something we need it. We still need it. I think to this day. But that being said, and I think you said it very well, that it needs to be appreciated and then also kind of kept down. You know, so you don't destroy the people around you. And I was on a track to doing that.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I think there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about you, but I think that's why you and I think that's why I vibe with you so well, is that you and I have dealt through a lot of the same things, because I've dealt through that too, where like every response was anger. Every response was a scream or a fist, or a fist through a wall or something, just spite. My anger usually came out as spitefulness or just being a dick on the internet. Like it got to a point where I was so sick of it that I couldn't do it anymore. And I it's just like, all right, look, I just need to get over this. Everything's gonna be fine, and just need to stop. I need to find a new way to coexist with myself, and I'm doing all right now.
Good.
I'm trying my best. Like,
oh yeah, that's all you can do is try.
Yeah, like I sobered up. I found I didn't find Jesus.
Did you find a Jesus?
I did actually. Okay. Well, and actually, as of recently, I found this, and that was the thing, was like, I really wanted to create a project that really made me feel complete in my soul, and I really I said it to Ian, and I think I've said it on a couple episodes. Like, people are my religion. Talking to people, this is my church, and that's what I love the most. Is that I could learn all the stuff that I've learned from these books, but it's still distant. Like, it's still distant knowledge. Yeah. But when I get to sit down with somebody and talk to them, and when I get to a point where, I stop sweating through my palms, and the conversation flows really well, and I start tripping over my own thoughts, like, it's just such a euphoric feeling for me that I carry that with me all day, or I carry that with me all week. After this, I'll probably be really hype and I'll go clean my garage.
There you go.
But this is my thing, is like, I didn't know, what is this, 3 years? Yeah, 3 years. 3 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing with myself. No clue whatsoever. And I had a great job. I had, great money. My wife is one of the most amazing people on the planet. I had that, and I just didn't appreciate the fact that I was even alive. And got my face broken open, and that's about it. I was like, okay, something needs to change. Change that, sobered up, started getting fit, doing all that stuff, and it's just been that path of like, oh, okay, John's like, when I say something, nobody reels back like I'm gonna scream or anything. Yeah. It's like, because I knew people like that, and it was not fun growing up with her, but it's like, when you know that somebody's only response is screaming, you don't want to be around them. No. It's like, that's no good. And I was becoming the things that I didn't want to become, and I didn't put it into perspective, because we all just kept going on like it was gonna change itself. It's it doesn't come easy, but it comes. So it's beautiful. But I don't know, man. You want to play? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I can play some songs.
All right, it's up to you. Let me pause the recording real quick. The guitar, because you got a beautiful flat top guitar with you. I saw that on your Facebook the other day. I was really excited about that. I love the way they sound.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's a Gretsch resonator, a cheap one, but does a job.
No, that's all that matters. You know what? As much as a lot of my friends are like crazy gearheads for music, I've heard a lot of good people playing out of cigar box guitars down at the festival. Yeah, like I've heard a lot of wizards on those things. So sometimes it really doesn't matter what it is.
No, not at all.
As long as it plays.
Yep. So. I mean, if I'm playing a 3-hour singer-songwriter gig, nobody wants to hear me with the same guitar for 3 hours. You know what I mean?
No, that would drive me nuts.
So it was about time I mixed up the textures a little bit.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
All right.
Feel free.
This is a new tune that I wrote for the upcoming album that I'm going to be recording at Right Coast Recording over in Columbia. That's where I recorded the EP at. Great group of guys there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I can't keep you off
I think that's the one I just listened to the snippet of, and that's. I love it when you come over and do this. Yeah, that's so. When you do go to record the album, are you going to be with a full band, or are you going to be just you?
Oh, that's a question that I'd toss and turn at night.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to project something that's I don't want to project something that's not what people are going to see live.
Yeah.
And I have no interest right now in having a full band. Maybe some people to be up on stage with me. Ideally, stand up, bass fiddle would be nice, and just a little drum kit, not even a full, 5-piece, but that would be ideal. Now in the studio, I would like to bring in guest artists, maybe some lap steel or fiddle or something to just give it some texture and a better sound. A lot of people have trouble listening to an acoustic record in its entirety.
Yeah.
And that's a very common thing, and I that's okay. That's perfectly fine. People like what they like. So I kind of want to throw in some other instruments if I can.
That's cool. That's cool.
Not a full band though.
No, I just wondered because actually, yeah. Just bring him up one last time. Joshua Black Wilkins records with a full band and then he tours on his own.
Yeah. And
it works because he manages to translate the acoustic, because acoustic and electric guitars are two different things, and full band versus acoustic is two different beasts, but he does manage to translate it very well so that when you're listening to it on the album and then you go see him live, it's still it's still in the same universe.
Yeah. So
it's pretty good. But yeah, that's cool. I'd actually wondered that. I didn't know if you were planning on that, but
it's a lot to manage. A full band is
yeah,
so much to manage, and I have a hard time even just managing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And then to have people on board that share the same vision as you, it's difficult.
Yeah, that seems a little rough, man. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and play another one, and we'll let you get out of here. And
all right, yeah. Here's another new one. I've been writing a ton on this guitar specifically, and writing on different instruments.
Yeah,
allows you to it pulls out different things. I mean, I'm playing the same chords as I play on any other guitar, but just the sound pulls something else out.
Oh yeah.
So this is a true story. It's another story song. The other one was kind of it was about many experiences of chasing women, but this one is about one specific woman who's very special to me.
Summer singing country songs. My heart skipped a beat when she sang along, but she didn't give a damn. She wanted me for who I am. Too late at night, I started running around with a different type, but you told me later that you found a love that makes this here sound. In my youth, I rode around with more than a few, but honey, I'm telling it straight to you. When I say forever, I'll be true. So hold me close, darling, don't you let me go. It's been too long, we've got seeds to sow. And come as we may, I wouldn't want it any other way. Oh, I wouldn't want it any other way. Oh, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah. God damn. I was and near the beginning of the episode, you had said you're not good with your hands at all. Yeah, I get it. You're bullshit. Yeah, I see. I see. No, that's beautiful, man. I really like that, and having you play that after this whole conversation, like, yeah, it has a lot of. It feels better. No, like it does. It feels like that connection's there. That's awesome, man. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So I'm stoked. I really look forward to you getting your album out.
Thank you. Yeah, it'll be a matter of months here.
Yeah,
so.
and you have something November. No, I know you have something January.
Yeah,
Gig in
October
January.
28th, I'll be up at Mellow Minded
Where's that?
Cafe in Harrisburg. It's like Littlestown area or whatever it's called up there.
Linglestown. Oh, Linglestown.
Linglestown.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's up near Harrisburg. It's a cool little healthy cafe thing they got going on. BYOB.
Oh, cool.
Come get drunk with me.
There you go.
But yeah, that's October 28th. It starts at 8 o'clock.
Oh, cool. That's a Saturday. I know that. That's Saturday.
Yeah, that's a
night.
weekend, Halloween weekend.
Ooh,
So
that's right. I got a Halloween party.
Mhm.
I'm gonna dress like Primitive Satan. I'm stoked. Did you? I don't know if you saw the picture or not.
I did not.
I got white fur pants and a mask with giant horns on it that I made out of paper mache. Because when we looked out of the cave, there he was, and he was fear. So yeah, I'm really stuck on it. So, but no, that's awesome, and yeah, dude, BYOB, just let the kombucha stay out for a little too long, let it ferment, and take out on up. So
Yep, and if people can follow me on all the social medias. It's under Uncle Brother Cousin.
And UncleBrotherCousin.com to pick up your EP.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, come back again soon.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
Oh yeah.
I'm really stoked to like have you back on.
Yeah, I'll be back.
I'm hyped for you, bro. It's
Thanks.
cool.